goes live in 2 minutes. Lynn Cullen live in 1 minute. Welcome to Lynn Cullen Live at pghcitypaper.com. Email your questions and comments to Lynn at pghcitypaper.com.
Oh, the weather outside is frightful. Hello, how are you? It be January 12th? Okay, it is. January 12th. It's a Tuesday. It's winter's finally asserted itself. And my sister, I think, is awake. Hello, Suze?
Yeah, I'm awake.
Oh.
I'm here. I'm awake.
Okay.
For some reason, my phone wasn't answering.
No, it wasn't.
I mean, I couldn't pick it up.
Oh, okay. Well, we're having a lot of technical snafus on this end, too. Much of what I wanted to talk about today, I sent to my email here, so I could just call it up on the computer. And my computer is telling me it cannot find the server.
No, you aren't connected to the internet.
I'm not connected to the internet.
You
Well,
want me
Selene
to
is.
sign into your email account?
No. It's okay. Let's just screw it. All right, we're just gonna. Don't worry about it, Selene.
Okay.
We'll just.
I mean, I could do that, you know.
No, but it's my thing here at work, and it's no.
Okay.
Try restarting it one more time.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, what the hell? God dang it. Well, Suze, have you seen the the big news today?
Oh, what? Murdoch and Jerry Hall?
Yeah. I know. We think the same way.
I don't. Was your first reaction? Ew.
Well, no, but she's a classic Texan woman, of a certain sort.
Right.
Yeah, she will. She wants to land the top dog, and she does. Jesus Christ.
Well, may they be happy together.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it's a real love match. I mean, like, what? Does he really think that? Well, I'll tell you, that much money makes men handsome as holy hell. That's
apparently,
yeah.
And to some women, apparently.
Do you know? I cannot tell you how many women in my life have said to me that their own mothers said to them. Every time I heard it, I could not believe it. Well, my mother always said,
It's just as easy to fall in love with a rich man.
that is correct. Susan, can you imagine a mother saying that? What nice family values you're passing on there,
I can
Mom.
imagine. I think I know a lot of my friends' mothers.
In my life, I have heard that more than once, and there's been no like suggestion that it's inappropriate. It seems like it's like wisdom. Oh God, jeez. Man,
Yeah, the values are, what can I say?
I don't know. It is true, and it's obvious that women are attracted to powerful men. And you can overlook a whole lot if you're with the top, if you're going to get a top dog.
Power is, listen, it's clearly these things are attractive. And
They are.
Power more than great wealth, I think.
Right, power more than anything. I mean,
Right.
that women would fall all over that gnome, Henry Kissinger, right?
Which aside from the fact that his voice sounds strangely familiar.
And he's with age, he's sort of shrinking into he really does look like a garden gnome now. Ugh. God.
But he married a very bright, interesting woman who I think they
Maybe.
liked each other's.
We
brains.
don't know. Nancy, right? Is
Yeah,
that her name? Nancy.
I think.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. No. All right, never mind. So, yeah, that was the big news. That one really knocked my socks off, but didn't surprise me. Didn't surprise me. Boy. How much Viagra you think he takes?
I don't know. I was just thinking that women are so different. I mean, I had lunch with our mother yesterday and one of her pals from around here, and there's a lot of them.
Really?
And this woman, I would have put at probably around maybe 80 tops, more like 75.
Okay, what is she,
And
120?
we met her after her tennis match.
Oh, God, what is she?
90.
Okay. Well, and you're, of
but
course
she's
that'd be
not
it.
looking around for a man, I mean, it's just a different, she's just hopping around enjoying her life. I think it's sort of interesting.
Yeah, but 90-year-old men aren't looking for 90-year-old women. First of all,
Well, that's true. But
they're
she
looking,
could,
men can have women 20 to 30 years younger, which is exactly what he's got with her. I mean, she's no spring chicken. It's not like after his last one, who was like 50 years younger than him, right?
Yes, but she humiliated him.
Yes, she did. And then so he's decided maybe a little older. Now, I'll marry like my daughter's age as opposed to my granddaughter's age. And so Jerry Hall is 59, supposedly. Oh, and you know what? Technically, this is her first marriage.
Right, because the other one didn't count.
No, yeah, her 20-some year marriage, she thought she was married to Mick Jagger.
All intentions were that they were to be married.
Well, they thought they were married. No, they thought they
Right.
were married. It was something with whatever venue they did it in, some third world country. It just didn't work. I mean, it wasn't legal.
It didn't count. Right.
It didn't count, but they thought it did. And anyway, they were, that was a long-lived.
Right, and they were officially dissolving it. I mean, they were trying to divorce, and England said, "Can't, you were never married."
Well, jeez, I wish someone had told me that earlier.
Well, I wonder what consequences it had for her financially. That would be my...
Can you imagine the prenup?
Do you think there was one? I think...
No, I'm not with Mick, with this one. with Rupert.
Whoa.
Hello?
Yeah, I can. I mean, but I, if I were her, I would start negotiating at a pretty high figure. Like, you don't get rid of me, I'll take $30 billion and the Wall Street Journal. Just that's it.
Oh, I don't know. God almighty. Okay, well, thank God for the distraction of the rich and beautiful and celebrated. Thank God.
Yeah, I have to say, I got my my proxy to vote Apple stock shares today, and I never used to do that, but now they come on my email and they make it really easy to do. So I voted.
For what?
Oh, I voted for the board members. I voted for.
Why did you vote for them? Do you know any of them? Do you know?
Yeah,
if
I did. I ended up knowing sort of most of them.
Did you vote for? Why didn't you vote against them?
I voted against the CEO, the executive compensation plan. I had no idea what it was, but I voted against it.
Yeah, right. Whatever it is, I'm against it. No, whenever I get those things, like I thought you were going to say you got a ballot from the Green Bay Packers, because I get those.
Oh, yeah, I don't vote those.
And I do, because you do know some of those people are, town folk there in Green Bay. So I look up and down the list, and I vote against people like with corporate ties, and then I vote for just regular people.
Green Bay people,
I
right.
vote for women. They're not enough. I try to mess it up as much as I can. I do. It means nothing, because most people just rubber stamp whatever they send out. Right. So, have you read any more of, have you watched any more of Making a Murderer?
No, but did you see the article that I sent you?
No.
Ooh.
What article?
I sent you an article from Time Magazine.
Oh, I thought that was just a cover. I didn't realize there was an article attached to it. Sorry.
No, there was a.
Thought you sent me a little picture. Oh.
No.
Yeah, so?
No, but there was an article talking about the danger of this kind of what is basically a propaganda tool, and saying that the case was not quite accurately portrayed, and that this clamor for justice, is not necessarily apropos. And it's not to say that you don't get the exact impression they want you to get while watching it.
Suze, there's no way, you haven't watched it, there is no way you can watch the interrogation of this clearly minimally able 16-year-old and not see it as such an outrageous assault on him. And then when you hear him try to explain to other people why he confessed and why he said, it is really for anyone who ever wanted to know, what do you mean somebody confessed and they didn't do it? What kind of you actually see someone confess in detail as someone essentially feeds him the things to say. And they misled him. They misled him. They told him, yes, exactly. Yeah. You can go home he right now, Suze, is sitting in the Green Bay Reformatory and has for the last 8 years for a murder this kid did not commit. There is no way the kid committed this murder. There is some question about maybe the uncle. But, Susan, you cannot watch this and think this kid is guilty at all. It is gut-wrenching. There's nothing they could have skewed to take away from the impact of watching those two cops destroy this innocent, terrified, frightened, clueless child. Oh, my God. You can't imagine it. So I don't care what you've read. Don't you just allow your own self to look at it.
All right.
How a woman is murdered in somebody's trailer and there's not one drop of blood. Her throat slit, this, that, all this stuff. And they can't find a bit of blood.
Well, that's weird.
How, after 8 times the cops going through the trailer looking for evidence, all of a sudden, on the 8th try, they find the woman's car key right there in a corner in the bedroom. I mean, this is such a set-up job. This is such a frame. This is such a you can't imagine this. There's a reason people are so freaked out. And there's a piece in the New York Times today about it, I think. It won't go away. Because people, and the thing is, it feeds into the sense that people, of course I don't have that either, feeds into the sense that people have that the system is totally
corrupt, right?
Totally corrupted. And more specifically, the piece in the Times today, which I seem to have not managed not to bring in, says, and it's written by a federal prosecutor, and the prosecutor says everybody's assuming that this guy is, I think the point is that if we take anything from this documentary, take from it that indeed the system is broken, that there is not equal justice under the law in this country because money is part of the bargain. And if you don't have money, if you're part of the underclass of America, which is growing by the millions every day, that system is not for you. You're going to be railroaded right through it. You have no access to good legal representation, even if supposedly you're granted a court-appointed attorney who doesn't know what the hell he or she is doing.
Who might never have had a criminal case before, right?
That's right. And the attorney, the court-appointed attorney in this case, is so mind-blowingly incompetent that he is actually working with the police against the kid. You can't imagine this thing. It's he and his investigator who set this kid up and make him right. It's his own attorney. You can't make it up.
Okay, well, that's pretty bad.
I'm sorry. I know. I can't get this out of my head. I keep thinking about that kid, Susan. Huh?
Well,
we'll
see what happens.
Oh. I had my teeth cleaned yesterday, and my dental hygienist, when my mouth was open, she said, "So I don't know if you watch this Making a Murder," and I'm like, I mean, because I have to, and I actually at one point almost clamped down on her fingers, and she let out a little shriek, and then I think she realized, oh, this is not a good topic if I'm trying to have this woman's mouth open so that I can get my work done. But oh God.
Well, we'll watch. Mother has been watching nonstop football.
Did she watch?
So we watched.
You watched the college
Clemson
game last night?
Yeah.
It was a good game.
Yeah.
I didn't watch it all, but I watched some. That was a good game, and I, of course, wanted.
I know.
I cannot.
They're all sort of the same.
I can't root for Alabama. Any team that is part of the Confederacy.
It's hard to root for.
I can never root for. What is it? Who is that? Mississippi? I'm against them. Texas? I'm against them. I'm against
Clemson
Alabama.
But
I know. But what?
Clemson, South Carolina.
I know it is, but it doesn't say South Carolina, so I can pretend they're not.
Oh, it's like how bacon isn't pork.
Yeah. Yeah. You betcha. Oh, no, we sort of keep kosher. I would never eat pork, but our mother actually claimed
That's the bacon.
that Canadian bacon was not pork. real bacon was. What is she? She gave Canadian bacon a pass.
Girl's got to have her eggs Benedict.
Yeah, I know. You gotta.
Well, I went to the doctor here yesterday.
For what?
Oh, I decided to get my eyes checked here because why not? You know, insurance being what it is, eyes are not apparently part of your body anyway. So,
not important.
not important.
No.
Along with your feet, which are also not part of your body.
No, your feet aren't. You go to a podiatrist, forget about it. You go to I mean,
Right.
It really is amazing.
It's a little weird. So there's no reason not to go here.
So, right. You're not covered no matter where you go.
And I haven't been able to see for like a year and a half, and have been too, out of my element to figure out where to go. So we're driving. I love this place. So we're driving down Dinah Shore.
Okay, yeah, and if you've never been to Palm Springs, you drive down Dinah Shore
We
and
we turn onto Ginger Rogers from our street, and then we turn left at Bob Hope, and then we turn right at Ginger Rogers.
No, you were just on Ginger Rogers.
Dinah Shore.
Dinah Shore.
Right at Dinah Shore, and right in front of me is this huge building that says optometrist, and I went, oh well, that's a sign from God. So I pulled right in and made an appointment. I went in yesterday. Very nice folks. I'm right. I can't see.
Yeah, right. You're right. You can't see. Well,
I mean, there's nothing terribly wrong with me other than I need cataract surgery eventually, and so I'm all excited. I'm going, really? I can have cataract because that means I'll be able to see.
I know. So I had cataract surgery. Excuse us, on one eye, a few years ago, and now my other eye is as good as gone. And I have this monovision stuff. So the eye means that one eye can read. I'm one of the
right.
I'm one of the few.
Me too. I'm a natural mono.
Okay, well, I'm one of the few old ladies who can hold a newspaper this close without glasses and read.
Yep, me too.
Yeah, no problem. But that's because this eye is tasked with seeing close. This eye is tasked with seeing far. This is the eye that now has a cataract. I can't see a damn thing. I can't see the television. I can't see anything. And so I went to the optometrist to say, get this friggin' thing off my eye. And do you know what they said? The insurance companies won't allow us to do that because they say you're not blind enough. So I am now, feeling my way through my life until I'm blind enough for the friggin' insurance company to pay for the surgery.
Right. I mean, is this Medicare?
Well, there's no reason to. Yes.
Okay. Well, it's because I'm going to have the same problem.
Well, no, you have to reach. They give you this test, and they say, do you see that? Do you see that? And I did too well on the test. I did too well.
I can't see the big E. even with correction out of my left eye.
Anyway.
So, I don't care if they ever do my right eye. So,
All right. Well,
anyway, so I'm all excited.
I know, because then you'll have a new eye. It is cool.
Right.
Yeah, it's great. Oh, dear God.
So meanwhile, he gave me a new prescription, and they're even nice. They let me keep my glasses, and they'll just call me when the lenses are in, and then they bring them in, and they cut them then and there, and there I go. It's very nice. But I did
Okay,
this.
Susan, stop.
What?
We've got to stop this.
You mean I'm not just talking to my sister?
Yes, Susan, stop it. Yeah, and I'm telling myself, stop it. Sorry, guys.
Okay.
We forgot.
Sorry.
We got mixed up.
This is what it sounds like when we're just talking to each other.
We got mixed up. We started okay with Jerry Hall and Rupert Murdoch, but are you going to watch the State of the Union?
Okay. Oh, I was going, which thing? Because I pretty much do that through everything.
Well, I don't wanna, but it's his last one.
No, it's his last one. We got to at least have it on.
Yeah, okay. Well, we'll do that. Shit. Okay, so listen to this. This so pissed me off. This is a local story, Susan, but it'll piss you off too. And what's life if you can't get pissed off upon waking up?
Yeah, this is one of your 3 things of being pissed off about. Okay, go ahead.
Yes. Okay. So, Pittsburgh is home to Duquesne University, right?
Yes.
You're swallowing very loudly.
I'm sorry, I took a drink of coffee.
It's not the first one.
I was actually trying to figure out how I could get downstairs and get some more, but obviously, never mind. Go ahead.
Well, no, you could. You're just not into the phone. And you know how sensitive I am to mouth noises.
I'm going to go get some licorice.
Oh, God. How about caramel?
Oh, that would be good. Oh, that sounds good for breakfast. Okay, sorry, we're doing this again, Nate. Tell your story.
Okay, wait. Now, speaking of that, and let's remember this. Speaking of that, so when I'm at the dentist yesterday, the woman said, the person says, she says that she was subbing at some other clinic, and it was some kid. She was cleaning his teeth, and then after she cleaned his teeth, he said, "So now do I get the sucker?" And she thought, "Sucker? They give him candy after I've just cleaned his teeth?" Oh, she was appalled. I said, "I can top it. And tell me if you have the same memory." We went to get our teeth cleaned as children in that what was a big office building on the corner of, I don't remember those streets.
It was the northern...
Like across from the Bay Theater, kind of, on the corner. It wasn't the northern building.
Oh, no.
It was one block away near the bridge, bridge. Okay,
right.
Okay. Well, my memory is after we got the teeth cleaned, we got they gave us a box of Cracker Jacks.
Yeah, I think that's true.
Stop and think about that.
No, I think
they
that's
have
true.
just cleaned your teeth, and upon leaving, they give you a box of. I mean, I remember because every time we left the dentist, I was always all excited about getting the prize in the box.
Well, that's called job security. I can remember that office chiefly because I think I was 10 years old.
Oh, and you were
12
scared.
Years old.
Yeah.
No, and this guy looks in my mouth and said, "Well, you're not going to have a tooth in your head by the time you're 30." And just went on, and I'm going, he scared the crap out of me for years and years and years. I'd like to report I still have all my teeth.
Yeah, wow, I didn't know that. Jeez. There were some bad docs in that town, man. Okay. So, I think that's also where I went to that shrink.
All right, I'm trying to get back up to a window. Okay, here I am.
Okay. So, Duquesne University, Susan. Now, we're just getting it out. Turns out some of the kids who came back, who live in the dorms, they came back for the winter after Christmas break or whatever that's called. And they were informed that if you were in a dorm room that you shared with somebody else and that person did not return for some reason, then you have to either move out yourself, find another roommate,
or pay a solo room,
or pay an extra $1,500 to remain and live alone in the single room.
I want to take that case.
Oh, my God. What?
You can't do that.
No.
It's not their responsibility.
No. And then here's what the university said. The primary reason for the room consolidation policy is to ensure fairness to campus residents. Students who wish for a single occupancy room are given the opportunity to choose and pay for that option. Here's what a freshman said to it. This kid is smart already. Sebastian Pepper of Royersfield, Pennsylvania said, "I think they're just digging for money, honestly."
I think so too. I mean, that sort of sounds like breach of contract to me. I mean, it's the university that puts you in a room. It's the university that assigns you a roommate.
Yeah.
And then if through no malfeasance or fault
what'd you have to do with
yours, you find yourself without a roommate, it is either the university's responsibility. You wouldn't have anything to say if the university plopped anybody else in there.
No.
But it's not your responsibility to find someone or move. That's bull. That's just wrong. That's bull.
Yeah, well, that's what Sebastian Pepper, freshman, said. He said, I didn't ask for a single. I asked for a roommate. He decided to leave. Why should I be penalized? I think you got that right, kid.
Right.
Okay, so, and then the last line of this story leaves my head spinning. Get this. It's Duquesne, by the way, other than that absurd statement they made, refuses to. No one's talking because they got caught. Anyway, it says, Duquesne's policy itself says students unable to find a roommate can stay if the student remains on his side of the room.
Honest to God. They must have hired one of their law school graduates who couldn't be otherwise employed.
This is like The Onion wrote this.
This just sounds like somebody writing phony legalese. And so I would like to cite, the basic principle of law, which is the law abhors an inequity. And this is a basic inequity. You can't change the contract in the middle of the sorry.
Oh my
you put somebody else in. You're the person in control.
Universities, what they do to these students and their parents with this money. I mean, it is another money grab. It's despicable, but to suggest, okay, all right, so you made an effort to find a roommate, which shouldn't be your problem, and then, okay, we'll let you stay in the room. But you cannot step foot in half of it. I mean, what kind of absurdity is that? Duquesne has a knack for this kind of crap, of this kind of statements from on high that don't hold up to any scrutiny at all. Oh, God.
Well, hopefully this one will go away. But eventually there's plenty of schools around now. No one has to go to that school.
Well,
there's a very easy way to teach them a lesson. Who'd want to go there?
Well, I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, so, Susan.
Yes.
You
have your computer back yet?
Yeah, it did sort of. It finally just sort of showed up. What that's about, I don't know. So I've never heard of Whitesboro, New York. Have you?
No. Frightened. What the hell's coming now? Okay. Tell me the name again. Whiteboro?
Whitesboro.
Okay, so that's where only white people live?
Apparently. I mean, it's been around for a long time, okay? It's a little central New York State village. And it's been there for, well, I don't know, for over 100 years, I guess.
But clearly intentioned. Go ahead.
Yeah, they called... No, as it turns out... Wait a minute. One of the founders was named White.
Right, of course.
Seriously.
Right. It's the more normal thing. He named his driveway after himself. I got it.
So
I had a neighbor that did that.
What?
He named his driveway, after himself, and then
put up a
built
sign.
other houses around it. Yeah, Gilman Farm Estates.
People are insane. Yeah, his name was Hugh White.
Which is better than White
Hugh. Right. Okay, so Whitesboro, for well over 100 years, has actually had a logo, which is very forward-thinking. If you think like the early 1900s, would cities have I guess, but they had a logo. And I wish I could show you this logo. It's a picture of two men, Susan. It says Village of Whitesboro, New York. And it's a picture of two men. The one on the right is an Indian. You can tell because he's got a feather from the back of his head. The one on the left is a white person, I guess. In fact, is white, I guess. And his hands, the Indian appears to be falling down with the white person's hands around his neck.
Oh, great. So Whitesboro, indeed.
Okay, so I just wanted to say that just last night, because yet again someone had raised the issue that the logo was, well...
Oh, fantastic.
So the village supervisors allowed for the residents to vote on whether or not to change the logo. And well, what do you think?
Wait, hold on for 1 second.
Okay.
Coffee is in the machine.
Tell Mother that she cannot interrupt a program while it's... Okay?
Sorry. I'm hiding in my bedroom. I did my best.
Okay, so in the vote, the residents of Whitesboro voted 157 to 55 to... Take a guess. 3-1. They voted 3-1 to what?
To keep it.
Yes.
Keep it.
Yes. But here, now I got to be perfectly upfront about this. There have been efforts in the past when somebody has passed through town and said, because this logo's on the side of the few like little trucks the village owns and stuff. Right. Someone driving through us looked and said, "Jesus Christ, what the hell?" And so back in, well, here's what the Whiteboroans say. They say that the logo depicts a friendly wrestling match between the village founder, Hugh White, and one of the poor Oneida Indians who thought that they owned
his trusted pal, Tonto.
Yeah, right. And it says the wrestling match was an important event in the history of Whitesboro and helped foster good relations between white and the Indians. That's according to the village.
Well, in that case, why didn't the Indian have the white guy in a friendly chokehold?
I know. So here's what happened. In the past, because there'd been some talk about it, when somebody sued or something, in the 1970s, a new version was actually drawn, okay? And it took White's hands off the Indian's neck. And the current logo has his hands on the Indian's shoulder. But the Indian is still going down. But they took the hands from around his neck.
Right, because that's not a kosher...
a wrestling hold. It's not a wrestling hold to be choking somebody to death. And they say, this article says, despite the history, people tend to see the seal as depicting violence against Native Americans. Yeah.
Because, guess what?
It depicts violence.
Violence against Native Americans.
Unbelievable. Well, so the fact is that the current seal, if you see it, shows the hands a little...
On the shoulders.
More on the shoulders, but the Indian's going down. And it doesn't look like a friendly wrestling match.
May I point out that he's more like a Native American, or although when you were on me about talking, or was it was my daughter who when I kept referring to our the
Indians, the Oneidas?
The Oneidas that we have in Green Bay as the Indians. And she kept saying, "Mom, you've got to stop saying that." And I drove onto the reservation not a week after we had the conversation.
And it says...
And here's what the reservation says. Entering the Oneida
Indian Reservation. Yeah.
You know, so,
Go
I mean,
figure.
that's not only the way we grew up to appropriately refer to them, but that's the way
Well, if
they
that's what they
refer to
call themselves, that's fine with me. I don't know. By the way, the guy who's being strangled in the Whitesboro logo?
Is an Oneida.
Yeah.
Well, sure. That's where they were marched from.
They were marched from there into,
from New
like,
York
Wisconsin.
to Wisconsin.
Yeah. And other points west. Okay, so there you go.
But if you're ever in Green Bay, after you've gone to see the stadium, which is why I assume that you were in Green Bay, go drive around the Oneida Nation. It's really quite interesting. It's a real place.
Oh, yeah. I agree.
Uh-huh.
And finally, things have gotten better for them, at least, that particular enclave. So, oh, wait, I just had a thought. So drive through. Ah, shoot. It's gone. It's gone.
Did you see the tail end of it just whiz out the other side of your brain?
No.
That's the part I hate. You can almost catch it.
Just sort of get it, but it's gone. Okay. So oh, the lottery, Susan, you actually sent me an email, a text telling me to buy a friggin' ticket. Are you kidding me? You know how I feel about this.
I know. I do know how you feel about that.
Did you buy? You bought. You bought, and
Oh,
you're going to
you
buy
bet.
again.
Yeah.
How
Me
much?
and my kids, because I believe in the three of us went in on $20, which I said to them, well, you might as well let me buy it because I'm going to give most of it to you for estate tax planning purposes anyway.
Listen.
Well, I'd set up a foundation. I'd
It
help
would.
all of my relatives. So that
Oh,
they
yeah, that's what everybody says. You know what? And your whole life would blow up around you. Nothing would ever be the same, and everybody thinks it'd be better. It's not necessarily going to be better. You don't need the money.
No,
No.
which is why I'd have a good time dispersing.
Oh, you wouldn't. You'd be under constant pressure from everybody in your orbit. You'd be getting guilt-tripped and begged, and I mean, it would be horrendous. So anyway, let me just say this. Your odds of getting there, I mean, they're so absurd. What are they? They're one, and somebody did figure this out.
Oh, they're one in 200-something million or billion.
Yeah.
No, I have no expectation of winning, but what the hell?
But one in almost 300 million. Susan. One.
I know.
Okay. I'm just saying. So here's what they say. Imagine this. Let's instead have everyone in the United States, every single person, print their name out on a piece of paper. And if they're too young, like, they're 2 or 3, you will print it out for them. And we're going to throw it all into a very large, whatever, cauldron. And then we're going to ask somebody to pick one. According to somebody who figured this out, the odds of picking from those 300 million scraps.
Those are better. I think that sounds like better odds.
They said the odds of picking President Obama's name out of that are not far from the odds of winning the Powerball.
Yeah.
You got a bigger, much easier shot. You are 246 more times as likely to get hit by lightning. Oh,
Lighten
God.
up.
All right. I don't get it. I don't get it. Why do
I
people...
get it. I mean, I have fun. I lie around thinking all the different ways I would give it away. It's fun.
Okay. I don't get it. How much is it? Celine's been out of the country. How much is the power?
It's up around $1.4 billion.
It's almost $1.5 billion.
Which means a cash prize of somewhere around.
A ticket's $2.
Before taxes, 800 and some. So after taxes, assume you're going to take home, like a half bill.
A half bill.
You'd have fun with that.
Yeah, right. That's stupid. Stupid! Okay.
I know, but I have a lot of company, and I don't, it's just fun. Why not? You might as well.
I just don't get it. Okay. Well, we've done pretty well not being serious, right?
Right.
So.
We did. I could have told you about how I negotiated buying my health insurance.
No, we don't want to hear it. Please.
It's really eyeball rolling.
I don't want to.
You look like Leonardo DiCaprio at the Golden Globes.
What did he look like?
Did you see him when Lady Gaga walked by?
No.
Oh, he claims it was just that she jostled him, but for all the world, it looks like he was making a face about the fact that Gaga won her category, and
he didn't believe it. He didn't think she should,
and he was just laughing. And then, and as he was, pulling a face about that, she sort of bumped into him, and then he mimed a very big "oops, caught" face.
Oh. No,
like,
I didn't. I didn't see it. The latest thing I saw about him is that he will only date women 20 to 25 years of age.
Oh, I don't. I just thought he was so wonderful in what was that crazy movie where he was still basically a little boy. And it was
no, that's one of the, I love. What's Eating Gilbert Grape?
Yeah, yes. He was Gilbert Grape, and that I think was the height of his career. I've never liked him in anything since. And
no,
I will admit I didn't see Titanic because I didn't wanna. I knew the ship went down.
I know I didn't see it either, and I don't wanna. Same thing. But you know what? I think What's Eating Gilbert Grape is one of the best movies ever. Did you ever see it, Celine? Do you agree? Yeah, it's really good. Okay, so Chuck writes, in regard to Duquesne, Lynn, in my limited experience either attending or working for universities, I'm surprised that Duquesne doesn't have a waiting list of students wanting dorm rooms. Apparently, quite the opposite. They've got a bunch of empty rooms. This may be indicative of a larger issue, and I wonder if their enrollment numbers are down. I agree this is a money grab, which is too bad given they are a Catholic university that preaches mission and service. Well, yeah. They do preach it.
To whom?
Yeah, they do preach it. And then they, try to bust their unions and all this other stuff. They're awful. Awful. Speaking of that disconnect between Christian principles and people who spout their Christianity, oh, come on. I didn't bring that either? Okay, listen, David Brooks had a column today about Ted Cruz. Where it went, I don't know. I can't find it. God dang it.
Well, you should be able to just pull it up on the
I don't want to have
website.
Things just went missing, as they say. Okay, so here's something I found that just blew me away. The Koch brothers, Susan.
Yes. Oh, yes. I forgot about that. Isn't that a surprise?
Okay, the Koch brothers. Well, they got all that money because their daddy, Fred. Fred's the one who handed over Koch Industries to them. And one of the ways that Fred Koch got all that money is he did, lots of business over in Europe in the years leading up to World War II. And by Europe, I mean to say Germany. And one of his big ventures was in cahoots with a well-known American Nazi sympathizer when in the late 30s, Koch built the Third Reich a huge oil refinery. So beautiful was this oil refinery that Adolf Hitler himself, signed off on it, a critical industrial cog in Hitler's war machine. So all that money that's now fueling all of this anti-democratic and all this right-wing conservative horror in this country is coming in part from Hitler's Germany, that money. Isn't that unbelievable or not?
As if you couldn't find them any more reprehensible.
Gee whiz. So this little item is from a book by a New Yorker writer, and she's a marvelous writer, Jane Mayer, I think is how she pronounced it, Jane Mayer. And she's got a book out called Dark Money. And she talks about where these right-wing gazillionaires, where the money's come from, and what they've used it for to subvert American democracy. And it's something else. So I just wanted to tell you, also in her book, by the way, didn't have as huge a part as the Kochs, is our own recently deceased Richard Mellon Scaife, who we know he funded the war. Susan.
What?
When you swallow, you go like this. Here, I'll do it for you. No, I can't do it.
Sorry.
You make a noise.
I'm sorry. I make noises increasingly more as I get older.
I know, but
This
get more.
is among the lesser offensive of them. Go ahead. Stop. Attention enough.
All right. So somebody sent me the David Brooks article, and
Yeah, I just read it while you were talking.
Hang on. Oh, we got our first snow today, Suze, of any measurable quantity, and somebody has written me and said, just thought I'd tell you I'm using my snowies. I salvaged. Listen, he got it from a dumpster 5 years ago. What SOB threw out a snowies? It was slightly busted, apparently. He fixed it up. So, okay, the cruise, the David Brooks thing I wanted to share.
Well, he just, it starts, the article starts out in a compelling way because it cites when Cruz was the the Solicitor General of Texas, and they had just goofed. They had sent this guy as a habitual offender when he wasn't, and therefore he'd gotten an extra
16 years in prison.
15 years, right? And Ted Cruz took this all the way to the Supreme Court to keep the hapless soul who shouldn't have been in jail that long in jail.
Guess what he'd done? He'd shoplifted a calculator.
Right.
And Cruz went to the Supreme Court to keep this hapless soul in prison for 16 years.
And Anthony Kennedy asked if there were some rule that you can't confess error in your state.
Okay. So anyway, Brooks talks about the fact that, traditionally, especially on the Republican side, candidates, totally on the Republican side, candidates who have gone for that evangelical support have, because the evangelicals are coming, that's Christianity, they have, when they're going after them, they go after them by citing the need to lend a helping hand. I don't think this is true. To the least fortunate.
That's the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
But it's true either.
Yeah, I know. And Brooks says he thinks George Bush, Mike Huckabee, and Rick Santorum fit into that. And I say, I don't think so. Anyway. And here's what he says, and I think this is he got it right on the money. He says, but Cruz, who has the evangelicals in his pocket, but Cruz's speeches are marked by what you might call pagan brutalism. Pagan brutalism. There's not a hint of compassion, of gentleness, of mercy. Instead, his speeches are marked by a long list of enemies and vows to crush and shred, destroy, and bomb them. And Brooks says, and when he is speaking like that in a church, the contrast between the setting and the verbiage that's coming out of his vile mouth is just jarring as all hell. So I just don't, Cruz, I have to tell you, if I'm betting, I say Cruz is going to get the nomination. Because he's going to get Trump's when Trump finally calls it a day. Or you don't think Trump's going to call it a day?
I don't think Trump's going to call it. If Trump weren't in the position that he's in, I think he would call it a day. And I think the second that his poll numbers start to tank, if they do, he'll go running faster than anybody. He doesn't like public humiliation. But if he's winning, I can't imagine that he would step aside. Why would he?
No, I don't think he would. My sense is, Joe Biden said yesterday that he thinks that it's possible for Trump to, in fact, not only win the nomination, but it is possible for him to win the presidency.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, Hillary is looking like she's going to potentially lose the first two primaries.
Yeah.
It could be. She just can't do it. So I'm starting to get nobody likes her, really.
Well, nobody likes her, although she was on Ellen yesterday and Mother was watching, totally rapt and saying, she should do more of this,
dance with Ellen and be cool and
Well, no, but
easy.
She was speaking very seriously, but then she was being cute and funny and dancing with Ellen, yes.
Yeah.
Playing games.
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
I mean, if that's what it takes for an American audience to, if that's what they want in their president, it's just amazing to me. And I just can't imagine that Bernie has a chance in hell of winning.
Winning
but
the general,
I think he's the candidate that certainly the generations below us prefer.
Definitely prefer. And I don't know if he doesn't get the nomination if those young people will come out and vote for Hillary. So there's a real concern here. I don't know. Just the one thing on his agenda, I can see if Americans could just believe and get their heads around it and understand that other countries do this, he is calling for free college education in this country.
Right.
Now, to an American, that sounds like insanity, but that is a reality in a lot of nations. And think of what that would do for the beleaguered middle class and for a lot of other. Think of what that would do. And on that issue alone, I can see voting for him. But of course, you can't do it because he'll have a Republican Congress. You can't do it. And because these Republicans are gerrymandered into their safe districts where they're so safe that they get more and more right-wing because it's in the primaries that they face any threat, and always the threat is from somebody even more conservative. So it's pulled the Congress so far off where most Americans are. We've got a totally fucked up system here. And at the base is the gerrymandering, the safe districts, the thing that and that Americans are segregating themselves and living with their own kind. I read a piece by some Democrat who lives in some red state, and how he navigates his life, how he doesn't talk about politics with anybody. He has to be very careful what he said. And he says, people say to me, why are you living there? Get the hell out. But see, that's what Americans are doing. They're going to live with people who reflect what they think. And so the segregation now is almost more about politics.
This isn't new.
No. It's just more
People
so.
have sought to live amongst their own forever. This is, I mean, go into any school that has been part of a desegregation effort, and in spite of your best efforts, the white kids are mostly going to sit with the white kids, and the black kids are mostly going to sit with the black kids, and then there's a few, in between. But it's like the very definition of a Venn diagram.
All right, I'm going to read you something now. Okay?
Yeah.
Because we only have a minute and a half left.
Okay, I'll try not to swallow.
This is a letter.
Clear my throat.
This is a letter that was typed on a typewriter in 1967 from a young musician. And it says, in part, Dear Sandra, a few moments ago, my manager handed me my very first American fan letter, and it was from you. I was so pleased that I had to sit down and type an immediate reply, even though Ken is shouting at me to get on with a script he needs. That Ken, W-I-A-T. And then he says, W-I-A-T? That's a New English word, which means wait. I've been waiting for some reaction to my album from American listeners. There were reviews in Billboard and Cashbox, but they were by professional critics, and they rarely reflect the opinions of the public. The critics were very flattering, however. I hope one day to get to America. My manager tells me lots about it, as he has been there many times. I was watching an old film on TV the other night. A great film, but rather depressing, if it is a true reflection of the American way of life. However, shortly after that, they showed a documentary about Robert Frost, the American poet, and that evened the score. I am sure that that is nearer to the real America. So this is a letter he writes to a young American woman who wrote to him saying, I heard your record and I really liked it. And
that's got to be David Bowie, right?
Bowie, yeah.
Well, actually, unless you listen to BBC,
they're saying Bowie,
name, and they're saying Bowie.
Well, we say Bowie,
right?
Yeah, he typed that September 25th, 1967. Aw. Okay. So, Suze.
Yeah?
Swallow at will. Talk to Mom whenever you want. Have a good day.
You too.
And thank you for waking up early enough to do the show.
Okay. You're welcome.
Okay. Goodbye.
Bye.
And bye you guys, too. I'll see you tomorrow.
Lynn Cullen Live, Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. and archived at pghcitypaper.com. The opinions expressed on Lynn Cullen Live are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the viewpoints of Pittsburgh City Paper, Steel City Media, and its advertisers.